we come from. I think we sometimes forget that in this country, police climbed trees to peep into bedrooms. Do you know that is where we come from? And then they would go and feel the temperature of the sheets to check on whether sex had happened between. You can't believe it. You would have been in trouble. Kathrada. And Gerwel. Incredible that to gain admission to a university, the first qualification was not academic. Can you believe it? It was biological. And I tried to show the utter ridiculousness of it. I said, imagine if we, because I have this large nose, imagine if we had a university and we said, it's a university for large noses only. And if you had the affliction of a small nose, having to apply to the Minister of Small Nose Affairs for permission to attend the University of Large Nose. That's where we come from. Incredible, incredible. Now, do you know, when you transplant a white person's heart into a black person's chest, it works. When we have blood transfusions, what's important is the blood type, not the color of the blood, because it's all red. But that's where we come from. And now, very clever people, cleverer than I, have determined that human life, I always thought so, but now it's clever people who say human life started in Africa. You speak about what is it, this thing, the cradle of humankind. It's so nice when you go overseas and they are sitting there and very nice people, very clever people, and you say to them, you know what? We are all Africans. So be nice to us because that extraordinary? Because actually, those of us who read the Bible did find this extraordinary story that we all come really just from one couple. It is a beautiful thing, but it also must fill us with incredible sadness that we are all members of one family. And just look at how we treat one another. Eh? I mean, we can't feel superior. You see, look at what they're doing in Syria. Look at what they're doing in Sudan. I have said, I'm so glad I'm not God. Can you imagine what it must be like to be God? Can you imagine? God, wherever God is, looking down, say, in Egypt, and saying, look at what my children are doing to my other children. Don't you think God must be weeping? It must be incredibly painful to be God and say, when will they get it? When will we get it? That we are family, not as a figure of speech. It's not a figure of speech. It's for real. What we do to another who is of another race, what do we do to ourselves? You and I and all of us belong in this one family, God's family. All of us, all. Families should not, do not usually discriminate among their children. Imagine if in a family we said babies with brown eyes will get more food, better education than babies in the same family who have blue eyes. It is utterly preposterous. But we did it here. And people have been trying to find what is the formula for coexistence. And they came up with the thing that you call the golden rule. Do unto others as you would they did to you. We are better because we say, no, it's actually more than that. You know what? I depend utterly on you for me to be human. I need you. I need you. I need you to help me to become me. And you need me to become. And that's why God, even when God is crying, can rub God's hands and say, I think one day they are going to get it. You know, I didn't bring myself into the world. I needed at least 2 other people. And you know what? I wouldn't know how to speak had I not mimicked other human beings. I wouldn't know how to walk as a human being. I wouldn't know how to be a human being. It's not a matter of choice. Imagine if we really believed it. That a person is a person through other persons. Do you think we would spend so much money on bombs? Knowing that a very small fraction would ensure that children everywhere in the world had enough water to drink, clean water to drink. Together, we are stronger than the strength of our component parts. This is all obvious. This is so obvious. Just look at what Madiba did. Helping with others, helping to weave disparate threads into us. Us. And us is who? When you look at his cabinet, it was sort of all over the place. He was able to draw together people from exile, people in exiles, and anti-apartheid movement, and we had a government of national unity. Had his approach to merit selection been similar to that of our Springbok coach, Gerwel may have been put on the wing and starved of the ball. As we approach the 20th anniversary of the birth of our democracy, our 5th democratic election, many will express their views on the high or the low road we have traveled. Many will not see beyond the noses of their own party or political perspective. As you know, I don't have any political allegiances. I don't know for whom I'm going to vote in 2014. But I'm afraid that we have too quickly sacrificed the power of unity that marked us as something special. We want to be seen as those following in the footsteps of Madiba. But we have thrown magnanimity out of the window. We've created an environment in which the acquisition of wealth by the few somehow seems to take precedence over the delivery of decent, basic services to those most in need. And we have allowed a culture of entitlement and impatient anger to take root. Those who do not receive what they feel they are entitled to, feel entitled to loot and to destroy. Instead of being able to celebrate 20 years of progress in forging unity and non-racialism, too many of our sisters and brothers find themselves in utter anguish because of the high rates of unemployment and crime, the costs of ineptitude in our education and health systems. Due to perceived widespread corruption, greed and waste, and due to grinding poverty. I'm not blaming the government alone. We are all to blame. I think we are to blame for taking our precious and hard-won freedom for granted. I think we underestimated the task of reconciling our people in the warm afterglow of our magical first democratic election, our winning the Africa Cup showpiece and the Rugby World Cup, with our fantastic constitution and creating a Truth and Reconciliation Commission that became the talk of the world. We took our eyes off the ball. The sadistic crimes we witness today, the shocking manner in which our men, we men, treat our women and children, the way we drive with utter disregard for others. Have you seen? We're waiting at traffic lights. They are red. The lights are red. I'm not talking about something yesterday. Today, as we're coming here, the lights are red. We stop, and 3, not 1, 3 cars What's happened to us? Can someone please tell me what in the name of everything that is good has happened to us? Why do we despise ourselves so much? That we show scant respect for the other. What has happened to us? What has happened to us?
That was a live broadcast of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu conducting a commemorative lecture in honor of Gerwel at the University of the Western Cape in Bellville, Cape Town.